episode on our new Tasmanian Devil channel. Here we are at our Tasmanian Devil Unzoo in southeast Tasmania, and we're surrounded by bushland and farmland, as you can see behind me here, and that's home to heaps and heaps and heaps of wild animals. You might hear the magpies, the wild birds here, just flying around and singing a tune. But we're concentrating, of course, on our Tasmanian devils, and here at the Unzoo it's possible to see quite a lot of them. We have a number of areas and habitats where we keep them here. We have to keep them in captivity because of legislation due to a very strange disease which is affecting wild Tasmanian devils. So there's a bit of legislation there that says what we must do. But people can get up close, and really, just like you're seeing here now, this is typically what our visitors see when we're open. But of course, this is the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, and we're not open. Now, there are a few points about Tasmanian devils which we haven't mentioned before. One of them is that they are meat eaters. Not only are they marsupials that don't live very long and are found only in Tasmania, but they're carnivores. And the food for a Tasmanian devil is essentially wallabies and possums. Now, they don't kill much. They really just do eat dead animals, and everything has to die at some stage, and the devil eats the total animal carcass. Now, we're going out on a new adventure. We're going to show you some of this. Come and join us. We're here at a really interesting place. Just up around the corner here, we're going to find something most unusual. Now, we're here for two reasons. The first is to expand our devil tracker operation. This is where we use automatically triggered cameras that operate at night, and they take photographs of the wild devils of this isolated Tasman Peninsula. And the purpose is to make sure that none of these devils have any sign of the fatal devil facial tumour disease. Now, it's a contagious disease, and we've maintained an isolated, healthy population here on the peninsula. And our cameras operate automatically at night. So we're going to set up a new camera here. In fact, in this time of COVID-19, many operations are contracting, slowing down, shutting down. What we're doing, we've decided we're going to think positively, and we're going to put out a new camera. So we're expanding our devil tracker operation. That's the first thing we're doing. But it's at a most interesting site. And we've promised we're going to introduce you to some of the characters of Tasmania. And the fellow we're going to meet today is called William McHenry, and he's a whiskey distiller. Stand by, folks, for Devils at the Distillery. Well, we've just driven past the distillery, up onto the hill above Bill McHenry's place here. Bill's just joined us on the way. We'll be seeing him in a moment. And we're just driving up alongside this fence, and I spotted something on the ground. And guess what? This is serious Tasmanian devil scat. You can see it's got bones and fur and things in there. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to set up the Tasmanian devil camera here. We'll just put it just over there, away from the fence. There's a hole in the fence, so the wallabies have been coming in, and this is where the devils have been feasting. So if we set it up here, we've got a really good chance, even at first go, tonight, to see if we can capture some images. Well, here we are. Bill's just been giving us a bit of a hand here to set it up. I've got the food for the Tasmanian devils. There are the scats. We know they're around. There's the food. Here's the camera. So we'll just have to wait and see. This is Bill McHenry, and we're in the middle of his distillery, and something's going on here. Bill, you better explain what you're producing and what's happening here. I can hear a bit of liquid trickling there.
Yeah, so this is the gurgling. This is actually our first distillation. We do two distillations when we're making whiskey. This is the first, went on at 6 in the morning. We've taken 1,000 litres of beer, put it in the still, heat it up, the vapour gets captured in the condenser and comes out here as a concentrated spirit. Coming out at the moment, it's about 20% alcohol. We'll take that and we'll redistill that a second time, and that becomes whiskey spirit. The whiskey spirit is clear, it's translucent, just like that. That's whiskey spirit.
So, Bill, when does this become the classic whiskey colour with the tannins and things in it?
It's whiskey when it's spent 2 years in the barrel. And we make traditional Scotch-style whiskey here, so we leave our whiskey in the barrel for 10 to 15 years.
Are we all going to be around that long, do you reckon?
I think if we drink enough of this, we might be pickled and we might be okay.
Yeah, well, is that the gift for everlasting life, Bill, perhaps?
It is. It's the make-up for being a bit of a bum dad. No.
Yeah. Now, people commonly associate barrels with wine, but what are you doing with the barrels here?
Same thing, in that we're aging in barrels. These are actually all ex-wine barrels, so they've either had port in them or brandy. We use French oak for this lot. They're in the order of 300 litres, so when they're full, they weigh nearly half a tonne. So 400 or 500 kilograms of spirit will go into these things. And it's that interaction between the air, the wood, and because of the environment, you get that white spirit changes to that beautiful liquid gold, changes in flavour and colour.
Yep. So you're producing whiskey here, but other drops as well?
Yep, we do gin. We're known for our gin, particularly our slow gin. So our slow gin was judged the best in Australia at the World Gin Awards only this year. So second in the world. So not bad, hey? Remember drinking my slow gin?
I remember drinking a slow gin. Actually, my late mother-in-law used to make it, and I've still got some of hers. And she hasn't been with us for some years now. The slow gin's a bit of a favourite. You're doing well with that.
Yeah. So we make slow gin, we make summer gin, we make a few different styles of gins, and we're always experimenting.
Good. You are an innovator. I've noticed this operation expand in all sorts of interesting ways over the years, Bill, and I'm impressed with what I see here now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah. There's nothing better than doing something you enjoy, is there?
Now there's one particular an area you call the bunker. Can we just go and have a look at that?
Yeah, let's do that. Come on over. So, to try and get ideal aging conditions, because the process of making whiskey is for the first part, it's quite quick. It's 5 days brewing, 2 days distillation. It's the last part that takes a long time. And so we've made a little tunnel into the hill here. This is Mount Arthur we've tunnelled into. And we use this as our vault, so we can have really constant ambient temperatures to make really perfect whiskey. So all our premium spirits go into this bunker. Can you see in there okay?
Yeah. No, it's fine. No, the camera's working well. This is a little phone camera, everybody, and it works fantastically well. So, on the Tasmanian Devil channel. Now, you didn't expect to come and learn about Tasmanian Devils at the distillery, but Bill McHenry's filling us in here. Yeah. Bill, when will this be ready? When can we pull the plug out and have a nip, have a dram?
With whiskey, it's always on constant rotation. So there's stuff in here now that's probably 8 years old. Be ready in about 2 years, John. So if you can hang on, we'll come back and do another filming.
Look, I'm not sure what I can wait that long, Bill. Yeah. I'll tell you what, can we just go and have a look at a little now? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd just like to have...
I'll show you a special brew we've just released for vintage cellars. How about that?
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, okay, off we go. Well, we're in the packaging room here, which Bill showed us a little earlier, but it's also obviously where there's a bit of a store and a little bit of a taste. And Bill's got a special drop here, and it's... you better tell us about it, Bill.
Well, it takes its inspiration from the Southern Cross. So where we are on the Tasman Peninsula, very good conditions for star spotting. We see the Southern Cross over us most nights, keeping us company when we're distilling. And this is one of 5 whiskies. The first one we release is Alpha, named after the brightest star in the Southern Cross. And this is one of our rare whiskies. This is a 6-year-old that's then been finished in a Tokay barrel. So Tokay is an Eastern European style fortified wine. Very hard to get, very rare and very delicious. Yeah. Goes beautifully as a finishing.
Okay, good. Can we have a look at this?
I think so. Well, I've got Bill here.
Okay.
It's got a couple of glasses prepared earlier.
Now, I might say there are 2 Bills here. There's Bill and Bill. This is Bill McHenry. He's the distillery man, and this is Bill the distiller. So we're looking at this, and look, the way you judge wine, you have 3 for colour, 7 for nose, and 10 for palate. But is that the way you do whiskey as well, Bill?
Oh, look, up to 100. That gives you a little bit more sort of fractions, if you want.
Okay, I'll see how this goes. There we are.
So this is 46%. So it's been cut back slightly out of the barrel with our spring water. So we're here on the peninsula because the water is so pure and soft.
Well, look, having as one who enjoys an occasional drop, this is magnificent, absolutely fantastic. I think it's been a really good choice that we've come here to Bill McHenry's distillery on the property just on the hill above to see if we can film some healthy Tasmanian devils. Good choice, Bill. Thanks very much. I was going to come back next week, but I think I might have to come back tomorrow if it's this good every time.
Cheers.
Yesterday we set up the very first camera outside the immediate Unzoo area here, at least on the farm next door. So we went about 15 kilometres away and discovered some devil indicators, some scats, devil activity. Now, overnight I've been thinking of the significance of this because it was pretty special. We didn't know there were any Tasmanian devils there. We had an inkling there might be. But this morning I've just actually got an email from Bill McHenry who said, John, meat gone. That's all he said. So we're going down immediately to have a look. We're not going for the whiskey. We're going to find out to see whether there were any devils around there last night. I'm pretty sure there were. Let's go and see. Here's the camera. There's the feed site. We're up on the top of the land above Bill McHenry's distillery here. He's got quite a property, the state forest there. This is a bit more open and, as Bill said, the meat's gone. There we are. So this is the camera. This holds the key. What's in it? Let's have a look. There's the SD card. We'll go and pop it in the laptop and have a look. We're going down to share it with Bill. Now this is download time to see what's there. Now we've picked up the SD card and we were meant to be doing this with Bill, but it didn't work out. We had a techie problem. It's what's called a stuff up. So these are not the images from the first night. Now the meat had gone then, which indicates that probably Tasmanian devils around, and the meat was also gone on the second night. So on the second morning, we went and we checked, and that's the images we have here now. Now there are 68 of them, and that's a huge number of images for one camera for one night. That's really unusual. So let's run through and have a look here. Now this is quite typical of the first image we get. We just set the camera up and we're walking away. Here we go. The meat's there. The lights changed a little, and here's our first Tasmanian devil. Look, this is fantastic. This is success at the distillery. This is a male, and he's probably about 3 or 4 years old. I can tell he's a male because he's got a big, robust head. Let's have a look. Here we are, and I'm actually looking here for any signs of facial tumour disease. And there's no sign of any soreness or any abscess or cancer around the face. That's where it breaks out, because devils, it's passed on by biting when devils bite each other, and they commonly do that. So this fellow's in really good condition. Just look at that. He comes in again. Now the time's 7:01, the temperature's 5 degrees. Here we are. It's 7:09 p.m, I should say. Here he is. We can have another look here. He's had a couple of scars there, but it's due to fighting, and that's typical. So I reckon he's about a 4-year-old male. Here we are. He's in fantastic condition. Still 7:03, so this is him. He's starting to eat the meat here. We can see that. And something happens. Something's turned up. You can see he's baring his teeth there. What's that all about? Well, another devil probably has turned up in the vicinity, out of camera sight. Here we are, another growl there. So that's actually taking place, and we're taking these photographs about 15 or 20 seconds apart. Here we are. He's eating. He's just about eaten all the meat there, and then something else happens. So he goes away, and then at 12:03, just after midnight, in comes another devil. Now this is a younger female. I'll say this is a 2-year-old female. We can tell because the head's rather lighter. It isn't as bullish like a male Tasmanian devil is. There she comes in. This is 12:20. Is this the same one? I think it probably is. Now this is still a female, a young animal. All the meat's gone from around here. And this female says, this is my territory. This is really interesting behaviour. So she's marking a territory, leaving a scent trail. Doing it there as well. 12:22. This is still the same devil, I suspect. There we are. 12:24, 27. Possibly the same Tasmanian devil. Now, 4:29, something's happened here. It's 2 degrees and I suspect there's been a bit of mist or dew on the lens of the camera. So I'll really flick through these, but it just indicates that at 4:29 we've got another devil. I'm looking here, can't really tell if there's cancer there. I reckon there isn't. It doesn't look as though there's a mark there. Here we come. Still flicking through them all. 6:51. Hang on, this is the 4th Tasmanian devil in the night. Now the first one took the meat and the others are still coming and hanging around. And this one's got its nose to the ground, it smelt something. So devils use their very keen sense of smell to have a look around the place. It suspects there's been some meat around. And that's the end. This is coming in, the camera picks us up. It always gets a photograph of our knees and boots, and it picks us up just as we're going to pick up the card when we go to check the cameras and put the food out. Now this is where we put the food out, just here. So that's extraordinary actually, to have so many Tasmanian devils coming in. There were 4 or 5 to 1 camera, and that's really unusual. So I count that as success. How about that? We didn't find any information or any signs of the Tasmanian devil facial tumour disease, and that's the purpose of all of this, to see if there's any sign of the disease. So if there is, we can go out there and form the Save the Devil scientists. They can come in with traps and we can work out what's happening. So that's really encouraging that here we are at a brand new site for the first time in 6 years. We've tried a new site for monitoring Tasmanian devils, and the devils at the Distillery, folks, are disease-free. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a bit different. Next week, Kira and Maggie, they'll both be back with some of the stories around the Unzoo. We'll be monitoring these wild devils at the Distillery on 3 mornings a week. So we'll be bringing you some of those images, but in the next edition, we're going to bring you something really special. It's going to be what we call our best of tracker. Now, over 6 years, we've got some fascinating photographs of all sorts of animals, but we're going to bring you the best Tasmanian devil video and images that we've captured over the past 6 years. We hope you're going to enjoy that. Now, it's a little bit of a tradition now that we finish up with a sunset. We have marvellous ones around the coasts of Tasman Peninsula. Sometimes we go inland a bit, and something a little different today. It's not a sunset, it's a sunrise. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next week.